Hello everyone, welcome to Proof of Concept channel. As part of POC today, we are going to see a very interesting use case. We are going to perform a load testing using Locust. Locust is an open source load testing tool. It's written in Python. It's very easy to use and a scriptable, scalable performance testing tool. Let's go to locust.io. Just go to browser and type locust.io. So this is their web page. It's an open source load testing tool. So if you see here, it's very simple tool. We can perform a lot of performance testing using this tool. We can define the user behavior in code. It's a simple Python code. We can define the user behaviors and distributed and scalable. And if you scroll down in the page, we know how we need to define the test cases. Also, we are going to see the step-by-step process during our demo. So don't worry about that if you are not understanding, but we are going to see that very soon. However, this is how the task look like. So every task is a load test cases. So each and every task look like this. And the installation also very simple. You can do the pip install Locust. So if you have a Python in your desktop, you can just do pip install Locust. That's it. And they given very nice documentation as well. Just click on this documentation link. If you see here, they given what is Locust. It's an easy to use, scriptable and scalable performance testing tool. So, and you can watch this video also. And if you come to the installation part, so if you are using the pip3, so you can use Python 3, you can use pip3 install Locust. That's the first step to start with. So you can just install Locust into your laptop, and then if you see this test, so this is how the test starts. So we may need to import that library and then just write our load test cases. So every method we are writing inside that add test, it's a load test cases. Here simple hello world test case, and so this can be executed from command line as well as through UI. So this is the UI URL. So we can open this URL and then we can simulate the users through the UI. I'm going to show everything in our demo part. Similarly, for writing the Locust files, the locust.py is the Locust file. So the file look like this. So we have the import statement for the Locust, and then our load test cases, every load test cases, and we have two methods. One is on start and on stop. So on start, like before executing any of our test cases, this will be invoked, and on stop, after completing all the load test cases, that method will be invoked. So we can define based on that if we have any like a prerequisite or any post requisite. If we have, we can define those functionalities inside those methods. Yeah, let's take a look on our demo part. For our demo, I have two components. One component is API. So I built a couple of small sample APIs, and I'm going to do the performance testing using Locust on those APIs. So let me go to my API part. So this is one simple Flask based application. See here, this project I just imported Flask, and then I defined two methods. So one is the hello world, just to say like hello world, and then the time. So this will just display the time. So these two methods, we are going to perform the load testing on these two methods. Let me quickly run this. Okay, so this is the server started with this URL. Let me show in the Postman how this look like. And yeah, Postman is nothing but it's a API validation tool. You may already familiar with that, and even we talked about Postman in our earlier videos. So now if you see here, I used the get method. So this is my URL, hello world, and I don't have any headers or body anything. Just fire this request and see, this is what we are getting. So we are getting just the name and the description. Similar way for the getMyTime, this is another method. So this method just to give me the time, the current time. So I'm getting that time as well as the message. So these two sample methods, very simple methods, I'm going to use for the load testing. Now let's go to our Locust setup. So the Locust file look like this. So you can create one sample project, and then two important files we need. One is client.config, that's a file, and locust.py, these two files. So suppose if you want to install, you can do here pip3 install locust. So for me it's saying that requirement already satisfied because I already installed these libraries, but you can do that same thing, pip3 install locust. That's the installation part. And so here I said we need two files, no, the client.config as well as the locust file.py. So the client.config is for the configuration, for the load testing configuration file. Here you need to specify the locust file, what is the name of the file we are looking into. So the locust equal to locust file.py, and headless equal to false. So we are going to use the UI for this demo, and I will showcase the with the headless equal to true in the later videos. For at this moment we are using headless equal to false, which means we are going to run that load test using that UI. And expect worker equal to 1. So, and the host, this is the host that is looking for our API. So our APIs are available in the local host 127.0.0, and so this is where it's look for the APIs. And I given users 1, spawn rate 1, log level, log file. So this will be like keep all the logs into our project path. So the log file, if you provide the log file, so that will keep all the logs. And runtime equal to 1 minute. I given 1 minute, but we can run this forever. Like you can provide maybe 1 hour so that the load test will be run 1 hour. But right now for this demo purpose, I given just 1 minute. And this HTML equal to, this is the name of the HTML report. So we need to specify what is the name of the HTML report that we need it. So there we can see the response time, so how many users it's triggered, all those details very clearly. So that's all about this config. And the next one is our locust file. So the locust file, very simple. So you need these libraries. So you can put locust and then HttpUser task and between, and one sample class. So this is the sample class, and this wait time, so this is the wait time between the request, so that will take 1 seconds to 5 seconds. So that is the wait time. And then as I said, so we have two method, one is on start and one is on stop. So on start is before starting the load test, and on stop is after starting. So this kind of prerequisite, if you want to set up any prerequisite, we can do that. For example, taking the token or passing the token, those kind of things we can do that. Similarly, on stop, that once all the testing done, this will be invoked. So here maybe we can do writing the report or any other post processor activities we can perform inside this on stop. Besides that, very simple, we have this at task. At task is the decorator for the load test, and then you can define method name, and this is how it will be invoked, sample method. So if you see here, I'm using the hello world. So but you may think about how that host will be taken. So that is what we given the host here. So if you see here, this is the host, HTTP and then host. So this will be take with the help of that host and then the path. Similarly for the API 2, so get time, same client.get of getMyTime. So this is the way we need to define our load test cases. So I have designed a simple locust file with the two load test cases. Now we are going to see and execute how this is executing. So the next step is the execution command. So for the execution commands, if you see, this is the execution command. So you need to provide python -m locust and --config client.config. So I'm going to execute using this command right now. Okay, so I given python -m locust --config client.config because this has to take all our configuration from the client.config and then run the locust load testing. Now this is running. Since we given that headless equal to false, so this is running through the UI. So for to open the UI, you need to go to http://localhost 8089. So in this port, this will be running right now. Let me go and open it. Okay. So this is how the UI look like, the Locust UI. So here you can simulate the load test. So you can set number of users and then the spawn rate. So this is the users started per second, and then the host. This is all values default it's taking from the client.config. That's the reason you are seeing that number of users 1 and then spawn rate as well as the host. These are all taken from the client config. So now I'm going to simulate. I'm going to use one user at this moment and then starting the load test. Just to click on start swarming. So now if you see here, this is calling these two methods, getMyTime and hello world. So if you go to the charts, you can see the load test started and it started firing and invoking these two. So here we can see number of failures as well as the if any failure or any success. So we are seeing that failure, nothing is failed now, but it's running. Similarly, you can see the response time. So the response time in milliseconds. So see our APIs, we are getting around 3 milliseconds. Yeah, it's less than 4, around 3 milliseconds. And the number of users 1, because we given 1 in our configurations, we simulated with 1 users. So now our load test is happening live. So this is firing and then getting all the responses. And this tab will provide any failures. We don't see any failure here, any exceptions also. And if you see here this current ratio, these are all the two APIs I'm firing right now, getTimeDetails as well as the hello world. So far, if you see the stats, so we fired around 35 requests. So that's what these stats are telling. Let me stop this. Yeah, I just stopped right now, and let's take a look on our report. So we have a download data tab. If you see here, we have all type of reports. We have CSV, the request statistics CSV reports, and failure reports, exceptions, and download reports. You can just click on this download report and you can see the summary of the run. So you see the during the time between this and this, and the target is my local host, and the script is in the locust file.py. And see the methods. I have two get methods, getMyTime and hello world, and how many requests it's fired. So totally 39 requests, and the response also you can see aggregated 3 milliseconds, and 95% we are getting the 4 milliseconds, and total request per second. So those details we can see here. Similarly, the response time and number of users. So all the details we can clearly see through this report, and this is the shareable report. We can download and share it with our client, or else like as part of our user story we can keep this report. Now let me simulate with some 3 users. So if you see here, there is a new test. If you just click on this new test, this configuration will come, so we can start a new load test right now. So I'm giving maybe 5 users, and then the spawn rate is 1, and let's start. Okay, now my load test started with 5 users. So now if you see here, it started with the 5 users. It simulated the 5 users. That's the reason you can see the number of users 5. So far it's executed with 1 user, and from here it started with the 5 users. Let's see the stats and how many requests fired. See, so far it's fired 81 requests and no failures. So we are seeing all success. Average size 5637, so which means the hello world triggered 37 and my time is 56. In the meanwhile, we can see our the request also. Let me go to the API and show that. So this is our API now. So if you see the API, this is been fired very frequently. So 5 users are triggering, so our APIs are getting called, and you see the 200 response. Yeah. Quickly stop this now. Let's stop it, and we do some analysis on this. We can see that total request per second and response time and the users, 5 users. Let's go to the stats. You can see total request is 218 right now, and no failures. Average milliseconds are 3, so we are seeing that average milliseconds 3. We don't see any failures. If you get any failures, this tab will show us like why it's failed, any exceptions, all those details we can see from this tab. Let's download report. Yeah, this is the download report. So here we see the total request, 218 request, and the response time, also the stats, total request per second. So we are seeing that around 1.5 the request per seconds. Sometimes you see that two requests per seconds. Similarly for the response time also we can see, and total number of users 5. Yeah, this is the report, downloadable report. You can take a look and then see our performance testing is fine or not, or else we can do some fine tuning. Now it's stopped. We don't see any more requests are coming because we stopped our load test. And if you see, if you go to the so now if you see, it stopped, the load test stopped and the load test ends. And so now we can see our log file as well as the HTML report. When you exit, you can able to see the report, aggregation report here also. In the console also you can able to see the same report, total request, all the details, total request as well as the response time, all the details you can see from this report here as well. The report will be generated in the console itself. Now let's take a look on our log file as well as the report, because when you configure, you provide this log file, loginfo.log, and similarly for the HTML, my locust request report.html. So the log info is available here, log info in the project path itself. This file will be generated, and we can take a look on the log. So this will be very helpful when you have any errors. We can come here and then see why that API is failed. So the exceptions you can validate as part of this log file. Similarly, we have the same HTML report available here. You can just right click and then open this report and perform some validations. Yeah. So this is the report, downloaded report in the project. You can see that the total request per second, response time, number of users, all those details from this report as well. Thank you so much for watching. So this is a simple load test we did today, and I'm going to build a few more APIs, and then I'm going to see the headless, when we provide the headless false, those details in the upcoming videos. So all this source code as well as the details available in the description below. You can take a look on that and then use Locust for your testing, load testing purpose in your project. This is very simple and elegant tool to perform the load testing.